Hello and welcome to CEAZOR Snack Sandwich. Today we're going to take a quick look at this anyCall by Multichain. Now this is not really for users, this is more for like protocols and projects to kind of utilize this. The main idea of this is it allows you to call, to send data or to perform actions on one chain that have a result on another chain. Now Multichain, if you don't know, is very famous for its bridge. It has like something like 40 blockchains and like, I don't know, maybe thousands of like tokens that you can bridge to many different blockchains, to all 40 of those blockchains. So they are multi-chain experts, so to speak. So what are they doing here? What do they have here? They have this thing called anyCall. So let's go down into the Medium article here. You can come and read this if you want. I'll put a link to this in the description, but I'll give you a quick explanation. I'll try to be as brief as possible. There's not going to be any flowcharts or anything in here. So basically there's a contract on one chain, and when you call the any contract, you also give it some perimeters like things to call on the other chain. So then the nodes will see that you've called the any call on, say, Ethereum, and then they will check it, make sure it's safe, make sure there's not an exploit, and then they will execute the desired execution on the other chain. Okay. So this is a basic idea. So some of the ideas that are here, so some of the key things that make this special is like easy integration. So this is something I want to talk about. Like they don't need to make a new chain. They don't need to make a new blockchain. All they do is they put a contract specific to your need on one blockchain and another contract specific to the other side of your need on another blockchain. So for example, let's say you had your protocols are on both Ethereum and Phantom, then you might need something that happens on Ethereum to then call this anyCall function as well, and then something will then happen on Phantom as a result of that. So that's kind of the need for this. Now, it does say here another key feature is that it's backed by the multi-chain ecosystem. So that's kind of what it's saying. Like this is not a new project in the sense that like this team has proven themselves to be pretty reliable and have grown to be quite big as it is. And there are already a lot of functions inside the multi-chain ecosystem already. So let's go into some of these use cases that they've laid out, and then I'll give you one that I've thought of as well. Okay. So cross-chain Dext. So think of it this way. So let's say a Dext, you design a Dext that has liquidity pools that are the same on two chains. So let's say as a user, I want to swap my Ethereum for Phantom, but I want that Phantom on the Phantom network, and I have my Ethereum on the Ethereum network. So what would I normally have to do? I'd have to swap it to Phantom on Ethereum, and then bridge the Phantom to Phantom, right? And then I would have Phantom there. But in this case, they could build a Dex that just allows you to sell your Ethereum on Ethereum, and then that selling function would execute a transaction to release liquidity on the Ethereum network, or on the Phantom network. So this is pretty interesting. I think it's pretty difficult because there's a difficulty of managing the liquidity pools and the price actions in there. But I think something like Paraswap could really benefit from this, right? Now, I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, but this is something that I think maybe have to be built specifically for this use case, okay? Now, cross-chain lending, this is pretty interesting too. Think of it this way. Like, let's say I lend my Ethereum on some like 100 Finance or Iron Bank on Ethereum, and I use that lent Ethereum to borrow USDC on Phantom because it's a different chain. So this would be something that could happen. And then also the liquidations could also be done from other chains and so forth. But keep in mind that all of these little calls would have to be they'd have to be contracts of their own. So each, I'm not sure if each lending and borrowing asset would need its own contract, or they would have to build up a contract that has many anyCalls inside it to accommodate this. But yeah, they'd have to build their own contracts, right? So arbitrage bots is pretty cool too. So think of it this way. Let's say there's an Ethereum Phantom pool on Ethereum, and there's an Ethereum Phantom pool on Phantom, right? And let's say for some reason the price of Phantom and Ethereum change, and on the two chains there's a difference in the price of Phantom. So maybe you could buy the Phantom on the arbitrage bots could buy the Phantom on mainnet, Ethereum mainnet, and sell it immediately on Phantom and make that profit. And it could all be done in a single transaction. There wouldn't be any chance of any loss in there. They could just basically, have a bot that does, calls the three functions, right? So cross-chain oracles. Now this is just basically, using the oracles from one chain on another chain. So like maybe the oracles for Ethereum, like the Ethereum price oracle, is much more robust using the data that is sent to the Ethereum blockchain, but you want to use it on some new side chain that's brand new. So you could use those oracles that are on those other chains, okay? Data sharing, there's a lot of examples in here, just like identity verification, credit history, blah, blah, blah. So like maybe there's some specific like blockchain that deals with holding data of people's personalities, and then that could be then used on another blockchain for verification and so forth. Cross-chain NFT migration. This is pretty interesting. Like, so let's say you have your NFT on Ethereum where it's safe and it's the most secure chain, but you want to build some high gas consumption game that uses your NFT. Then you could have the person call a function on Ethereum to say, okay, I want my NFT to be recognized in the game on this other blockchain. So then I would then call that, and then it would call the function on the other blockchain that says, yeah, this guy has the NFT here, and then you can maybe play the game on that other blockchain. Okay. Unified Metaverse. So this is about talking about transitioning assets from one meta universe to another metaverse. And then unlimited possibilities. So one of the examples of the ideas I was thinking about was like a Yearn finance migration. Let's say you have Ethereum on Phantom, but you want to hold a Yearn Ethereum vault on Mainnet because maybe the vault, the APY is better there, right? So what they could do is they could allow you to burn your YV token on Phantom, and then it would mint you a YV token on Ethereum, right? Now, there is the issue of like if everybody does it, then there would be all this Ethereum sitting on Phantom that's backing tokens that are on Ethereum. So maybe Yearn would have to do some sort of migration once in a while to rebalance this or so forth, or something like that, especially if there was a bank run in, so to speak, right? So I think this is pretty cool. I think it's pretty interesting, and I like how these guys are constantly trying to make things simple and make things easy and try to bring all the blockchains together, okay? So the first thing, there's this tweet here that kind of explains everything kind of as a summary. You can read through this. And there is an integration here of Curve Finance. Now they're talking about the gauges. So think like if you want to vote on the Curve gauges, you need to pay gas, or you need to pay Ethereum gas. So if they were to put these gauges on Phantom or on another blockchain, Polygon, whatever they decide, then you could then go there to make your votes. And then the actual effect would happen on Ethereum through some sort of anyCall function. They could even do it as a batch anyCall, like they could collect all the voting mechanisms on chain, which is on Phantom or Polygon or whatever, and then they could batch anyCall the result to Ethereum and have that Ethereum a single result implemented, and then the Curve gauges would start emitting codes and so forth. Now I like this quite a bit. I took a look at the multi-chain token. It doesn't look too bad. It's down quite a bit. It's up a little bit from all-time low, but it's down. And I don't know, I'm thinking about maybe buying some, maybe I won't, I'm not sure. But, I'd like to see this multi-coin get a little more effort in here, a little more effect, a little more use case, especially as this multi-chain ecosystem grows and grows and grows. So I started thinking about like, how could they integrate this? Now, my idea, and maybe you can come up with some other ideas as well, and you can put those in the comments below, but my idea is that because it requires you to interact with these people, you have to, if you are a project and you want to use this feature, you have to message them, and they have to work with you to build these contracts and execute them and put them onto the blockchain of the blockchains of your need, right? So I was thinking maybe they could ask multi-chain people to use multi to pay for this feature. as it grows. Of course, as it gets more adoption, they could do that, or maybe they could have some sort of fee to maintain it, or some sort of like you'd have to pay and to get some fees, and then they could give those back to the multi-token holders. And then I did ask them, like, how do they make money on this? And they're just gonna up the GUI a little bit, right? So maybe the GUI is currently at like 50. Maybe they would charge 50.1. Maybe they would charge 50.2, and make a little bit of GUI in that way on each call. So I'm not sure how much. They didn't tell me exactly the money, but just something along that lines. So maybe they could take a little bit of those monies and share them with the multi-chain, but they do have to pay the developers, and that's first and foremost priority always in my mind. Are the developers getting paid well enough to keep innovating and to keep maintaining and to keep building the protocols? Okay, so that's pretty much it. So I hope this has been useful and interesting, and thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.